Hello and welcome to Red Mate. Wolverhampton Wanderers have just beaten Tottenham Hotspur 2-1, some very late drama. Tottenham scored after only 3 minutes, and then we've seen Wolves go and get 2 stoppage time goals in order to claim the 3 points. Having watched the game myself, I thought it was a pretty exciting game. Tottenham, I thought, dominated the first half, but maybe didn't create too many chances. And then Wolves kind of came out in the second half and definitely started to pick things up. There was a moment where it went a little bit flat, but overall, I thought maybe ending 1-1 was a fair result and fair play to Wolves to go out and get the winner. I wanted to discuss today whether or not Tottenham are still title contenders. You know, they've started very strong. Had they won that game, they would have gone back to the top of the Premier League, I guess, until Man City play, who have the chance themselves to go top again. But anyways, I think Tottenham's season has started very strong. They've had a new manager come in, Ange Postecoglou. We've spoken about him already on the channel before, being an Australian. It's very exciting to have him in the Premier League. I think a lot of neutral fans would probably get behind him. I feel like he's been saying and doing all the right things in all his press conferences and the way he's taken that club by storm. I feel like all the Tottenham fans are very excited. And obviously the results as well. I mean, if you start to get things right on the pitch, then straight away you're going to get the fans behind you. But anyways, I also wanted to kind of dive a little bit deeper into Tottenham. I think having watched a lot of their games this season, I do feel there's an element where personally I felt they were maybe overperforming. It felt like they got some results in games that maybe they shouldn't have. And of course, that's what you need to do if you are going to push for the title and you need to grind through those games. But it's a very long season, and for me, I think the performances are very important. I think you need to be winning fairly convincingly in order to set yourself up for a long season. As a Liverpool fan, I've seen my team lose by points, multiple times now to Man City, who are extremely strong. And even if you're 10 points clear at Christmas, and I've seen it done, they finished very strong. And I look at the likes of Tottenham having famously just lost Harry Kane, who for so long was scoring them so many goals, so many assists. They were very, not reliant on him, but he was definitely their best player. And, we've seen them bring in the likes of Madison, who's definitely hit the ground running and he's impressing. He's contributing with a lot of goals and assists, but unfortunately he's now been injured and it seems he won't be back until maybe January, which is a huge setback for them. In this game against Wolves, they did have a few suspensions, a few red cards. Maybe this isn't their strongest team, but again, another thing that is essential if you're going to put together a strong title charge is having that squad depth and being able to adapt to all the different difficulties you're going to face over a 38-game season. I think fair play to Wolves as well. We've seen them beat Man City already this season, so they've beaten the top 2 teams in the league. And even last week, I felt that they were quite unlucky to lose to Sheffield United, who got given a penalty very late in the game, a little bit controversial, that one. And again, that was Sheffield United's first win this season. So, I mean, it's a very mixed bag of results there to lose to the bottom of the table, but Wolves can beat the top table. But again, going back to Tottenham, I feel like when they played Liverpool, Liverpool down to 9 men and they only scraped a last-minute winner through an own goal. And even when I've seen them play Sheffield United as well, again, they scored 2 late goals to win, which obviously is a great thing, and the best teams do always find a way to win in games that they've not been at their best. But that game in itself, I felt like maybe Sheffield United self-imploded a little bit, maybe gave Tottenham some cheap chances towards the end. And I guess having watched that game, the minute Tottenham got that first goal, it kind of always looked like it was going to happen where they'd get the second. I guess we've seen a repeat of that in the Tottenham Wolves game just now, but the flip side of that. But yeah, me personally, I think Tottenham, again, where are they at right now? They've got a new manager, they've got a lot of new players who've come in, they've lost their best player. I think for me, it seems like more of a transitional period. Hopefully they get behind Ange and they back him and he has a long career there. I think there will definitely be some good things that come. But personally, it feels like a lot of people have jumped the gun. They've seen him get a few early results and obviously they've put themselves top of the table and it's made some huge headlines, but I wouldn't be getting carried away too quickly. I think it's a bit too early to say that they'll challenge for the Premier League. We did see them go, what looked like they'd go the distance a few years back when it was Leicester challenging for it, and they fell short a little bit again. Coming from someone who's watched their team be up and around it and just kind of realize the heights you need to be at in the Premier League nowadays to beat the likes of Man City. And Liverpool's looking good. Arsenal, having done so well last season, I think they're going to be in and around. And my personal opinion, I think, and it seems like a bit of a cop-out, I still think City are going to go on and win it. I mean, it looks like they're going to win every game. They look almost unbeatable, you know, having just mentioned that Wolves did beat them. But yeah, I think Tottenham as well, having just lost Maddison, they're going to have a bit of a rough period. For me, it seems they've got a lot to learn. Yeah, I think it takes a lot of time to actually build up to being title contenders. I don't think that just kind of happens overnight, or you go from last season to next season. We did see Arsenal kind of come out of nowhere, where 2 seasons ago now, they had a pretty average season, didn't finish top 4, and then obviously had a bit of a title chance last season. But again, I think maybe that was their inexperience to go so far and lose it just that little bit late, where there was only a few games to go and still they couldn't hold out and beat Man City to that. So yeah, to call Tottenham to be a title contender this early, I think is a bit of a stretch. I think having lost Harry Kane, I think at the start of the season, Tottenham fans, and this is just my opinion, I think they would have probably been over the moon to get top 4, and to have this great a start is probably overachieving. We've seen Ange get 3 Manager of the Month awards in a row, which hasn't been done for the longest time. There's only one person who's ever got 4, and that's Pep Guardiola. But I think, again, like I said at the start, a lot of their results have maybe come in games they didn't quite deserve it, and then maybe their position on the table is overinflated right now, and I cannot see them winning the Premier League this season. I think there's probably a few other teams that might finish above them as well. If they finish second, I'll be very surprised. I believe they could get top 4. I think they could finish 4th. I think Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal look like the teams to do it. United and Chelsea still being very inconsistent out of those big clubs. Newcastle as well, I think aren't too bad. They've done quite well and could go a long way. But again, maybe they're another club that are getting the absolute maximum out of, you know, their squad. They've got the Champions League to compete with as well. So depending on how far they go in that, their depth as a whole is going to be very much tested. And the likes of Tonali, now they've lost, who's a big player they just brought in for that amount of money. But yeah, I just, having watched that game just now, I thought Tottenham are going to secure themselves against Wolves. That probably should be a win for them going into that game. I know it's an away game, but at the start of that game, I thought, you know, Tottenham were going to win this. They looked like they were kind of playing very well. And I thought, you know, even if they do win this game, it probably doesn't mean too much. It's not going to really convince me of much, given it's against Wolves. And, you know, prior to the game, I think Wolves were maybe around 16th or 15th. And they've obviously jumped up now, having just got the 3 points there. Having gone and lost that game at the end of it, I think for me, it kind of solidifies my initial thoughts that I was already having. And, you know, it's still very early days. We've not played that many games. It's a long season. There's a lot of time to go. There's still a January transfer window. Who knows if players might come in. There's international breaks. There's a lot of injuries that still happen and things like that. So a lot of things still up in the air, but I just wanted to kind of put my feelings out on Tottenham as a whole. I mean, I do really want them to do well, like I mentioned, with Ange being there, and I've got no issue whatsoever with Tottenham, but I think just their squad and individual players probably aren't at the level you need to be at to win a Premier League, or even at this stage, even challenge for it. And I think there's probably still some other better teams out there who will finish above them come the end of the season. But yeah, I'll put this out now. We'll see where we're at towards the end of the season, what I've got right, what I've got wrong. But please let me know in your comments below where you think Tottenham will finish this season. Whether I've got anything right, anything wrong, chuck it in there. Smash the like button, hit the subscribe. This has been Red Mate, I've been Ant. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.